New docuseries, Lady Parts, Justice in the New World Order, is an eye-opening on-the-road account examining the reality of anti-choice laws posed under the Trump administration. Following Liz Winstead, the co-creator of The Daily Show, and her team, the Lady Parts Justice League, a comedy-driven reproductive rights group, the series documents their efforts to destigmatize abortion and educate the public on women's rights, all with the help of a little humor. Take a look.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, you ain't gonna mess with Ro.
Ladies and gentlemen, Liz Winstead!
I created The Daily Show, and I was the head writer there for 3 years. I'm like the abortion comedian. I literally called every single comedian that I knew, and I said, I know you've had an abortion, and I know that because you got to have that abortion, you got to pick your path. Enter Lady Parts Justice League.
Are you ready to resist through laughter?
16 shows in 8 weeks in a van.
Joining me now is Liz Winstead, as well as Ruth Lightman, the director of the documentary. Ladies, welcome to the program.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
So first, Liz, I guess I gotta say, tell me, where did you even come up with the title and a little bit of the backstory behind Lady Parts Justice League?
So the name of the organization came because back in 2012, I had noticed that so many laws were happening in state legislatures all around the country. And I started to tour myself to try to help out some of these clinics, raise awareness, raise some money. And I made friends with a state legislator in Michigan named Lisa Brown. And she was arguing against a transvaginal ultrasound bill in the Michigan state legislature. And so she would use the word vagina when talking about a transvaginal ultrasound bill. And the Speaker of the House of the state of Michigan threw her off the floor for saying the word vagina because he said it was inappropriate. So when she said, what would make you think, what other word would be more appropriate, he said something more acceptable like lady parts. And I was so gobsmacked that somebody couldn't say the word vagina but felt completely comfortable legislating it, was running sort of our state houses and trying to make laws about our bodies, that I was like, I want to name my organization after that woman who took him on. So Lady Parts Justice emerged.
All right. And so Ruth, how did you come to this organization and decide that this is worth a documentary that people need to see?
Well, I knew our reproductive rights were really at risk, and then the election happened, and I had known Liz's other work in the past and loved her book. And then after the election, I saw her on television, and I sort of put those things together, and I thought, this is how I want to follow the reproductive rights story, is through their work.
Well, and this is definitely an non-traditional take on it. But I do want to tell a little bit of backstory, Liz, because you do have a very personal drive to want to advocate and destigmatize things like abortion.
Yeah, so I myself got pregnant in high school, the first time I ever had sex, and had a very trying experience. I knew I didn't want to be pregnant. I was in a relationship with an abusive boy. And when trying to access the abortion care that I needed, I ended up at a fake clinic. There are many fake clinics around the country, thousands of them that set up. They look like abortion providers. They advertise like abortion providers. And when I went there and asked for help, the woman told me my options were mommy or murder. And for a 16-year-old girl just seeking care, seeking for a way to move forward with her life, to have somebody who's dressed up like a physician and then preaching from the Bible, I never wanted anybody to go through that experience again. And so I've always been an advocate for reproductive rights. And then I just wanted to expand that, knowing, coming from my background at The Daily Show and Air America Radio, that I knew that infusing humor to expose hypocrisy was effective. But I really wanted to do more than just get people riled up. I wanted to add a call to action component. And so I decided after I finished my book, instead of going back to creating another TV show, I wanted to create an organization that used all those components together to make change.
So, and sort of give our audience an idea of how you find humor in something that's so intensely personal and a lot of times painful. I mean, it's not a decision most people make on a whim.
Right, and I think that I think there might be a misnomer that we have decided to set out to tell jokes about abortion, to raise awareness, to put on a comedy show and to get 400 or 500 people into a room, and then after that show to have providers and activists have a conversation with the audience about what's needed in that state and how they can help out and become activists to help out the clinic and help out exposing these laws and voting against these laws. It's a terrific way to just be a conduit for people doing really good work on the ground. You know, so many states, if you're in Arkansas, Missouri, Ohio, Alabama, have really strong but maybe not quite as big as they want to be activist communities. For us to recognize their work and simply provide a show that gets more people into the room to hear from them, like that's our greatest gift. So the comedy is really like, come on kids, get into the room, and then letting the really smart people in their own community telling the community what they need.
So Ruth, so often when we see documentaries that are dealing with, heavy issues, they can, even if there's a light, funny aspect to it, it can feel, I don't want to say depressing, but it can have sort of like a heavy hand to it, so that you come out of the theater feeling maybe motivated to do something but sobering somehow. Is that the feeling that people are supposed to come away with this from?
Well, I always want there to be some levity in the work that I do, because we don't want to walk out of a theater where we feel like there's nothing we can do, we're helpless. So it was really important to me to work with Lady Parts Justice and Lady Parts Justice League to tell that story, because it is a really dark issue, but it's also a really empowering issue, and we really want that to come across. A woman's right to choose is really an empowering issue. Liz and I had a really similar experience. I had an abortion when I was a teenager, and it's really personal. And so there are so many women who can relate to that. And we need to take away the shame, and we need to talk about it, because it's not really discussed enough. And there are a lot of really wonderful documentaries about the issue, and I really wanted to take a different approach, because I wanted to really invite people into the room to have the conversations that they're not having about it.
And I felt really excited because our work is, it really gives people an opportunity. I think a lot of times when people are like, I don't know what to do, when you watch how we operate and work, whatever your skill set is, we can figure out a place for you to be within the movement to make change. You don't have to be a comedian, but like people come to our audience, and I think one of the things that was startling for me to learn as I have visited so many clinics is, if you're providing in an area or a state that's hostile towards abortion rights, it's hard for you to get basic services at your business. So for us to say to our audience, hey, activism can be, you own a landscaping business, they will pay you to come and trim their hedges and do their lawn work. And so people are like, I can get paid and get a new client, and that's activism. And I was like, yes, it is. And so that's really great to be able to say, they need their website worked on, they need that kind of stuff. And people are like, here's what I do, how can I help? And I can be like, here's how. And they feel good about it.
All right, so Ruth, Liz, I want to thank you both for creating this, sounds like, incredible experience for people to either see or to see in this documentary. But thank you so much for joining us and telling us about it.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Lady Parts, Justice in the New World Order will premiere at this year's Doc NYC Festival. Visit us at metrofocus.org for more details.